Welcome back, everyone. This week on Collector Thoughts, Sean and I leave Earth voluntarily. We're talking the Artemis II and her crew, some actual good news that somehow clawed its way out of the dumpster fire that we've had front row seats to. And we talk about a book turned movie that really has no business being as good as it is, Project Hail Mary. All that and more coming up next. I'm Jason LeCompte.
And I'm Sean Millhouse.
And this is Collector Thoughts. So we're just back. We're just in it now.
This is the part where you just start yapping at me whenever you're ready.
This is the part where I say, "Hey, Sean, how's it going?"
We could just start doing like what Amy does when she's like, "Oh yeah, we're recording," and the person's like, "Wait, we are."
And,
oh,
wait. Oh, like now we're recording? Like now?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I like this yellow shirt you have going on today.
Oh wait, are we actually recording?
Aren't we? Yes, we are.
Well, I know we are, but are we like? Are we? Is this it? Okay.
It's improv. You just say yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
no, I did intentionally where I was like, yellow to me is always a symbol of hope and
Oh,
spring.
nice.
And
Yeah.
I've like really in the last, I would say 5-6 years have like really leaned into it. Like I'm more reaching for things like in my house. I've been trying to put more touches of oranges and golds and stuff like that because
I've noticed that the last time I was over. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a typically a blue green like earth in that way kind of guy, but now I'm trying to like embrace my Leo sun. I don't know. So anyway,
I like
but
it.
this yeah, this is for this episode. So I hear we're gonna get into things that aren't gonna make our listeners wanna like cry or scream in anger.
Or just tune out and move on, right? Yeah.
They would never. We have the most loyal listeners
I
in
know
the
we do.
land.
We love all 7 of you people. We just everybody.
We love each and every one of you.
Each and every one
Grumpy,
of you.
sleepy, bashful.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Would you ever learn how to say them all and like super fast in a row? I think
mean,
it was in a
like,
commercial once. Sleepy, happy, grumpy, dopey, sneezy, bashful duck.
oh yeah, that does sound vaguely familiar.
Yeah. I don't know where I learned that, but
I mean, it's who knows? There was always some weird shit that like memorization of random crap really fast was always really celebrated. I think when you were a kid, which I think always messed me up because I get like tongue tied on it. And then like I think about like math problems when we would have to go to the board and like do speed rounds of math. Like I was fucked up because there's something about the pressure, like be fast, be fast, be fast. And my brain just can't like it takes a while to get in the groove. So anyway, it's a really just random conversation.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah. But like
totally fine.
That was not a hopeful time, but we are now in one.
We are now.
Today we are, god damn it.
Today, I am feeling hopeful today. The sun is shining.
Today it's a beautiful
day. Things
are
looking right. It's awesome. Yeah. I'm even hopeful about the well, here's a little listener update I can give. So I'm actually even hopeful about the surgery that I have to have on Friday. I know I mentioned at some point, like I wasn't going to have to, and maybe it wasn't so bad, but the Achilles tear that I had, the MRI shows it being really bad. And I have to have surgery. So, but I'm actually like after meeting, what's funny is like after meeting the doctor, the surgeon, I was like, he sounds like he knows what he's doing. So yeah,
he's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, you even talked about him. You were like, yeah, I know that guy. Like he's great.
Yeah. And I I do think that I have to imagine if there are people who do actually listen and pay attention. Like I do know that there was the first episode we recorded right after you did it. Then there was like another episode like the week later where you're like, I'm kind of on the mend, like, I'm figuring it out. And so I did in my head, I'm not gonna lie, in my head I thought, I think I know where this journey's going, but I don't have my like in my heart to be like, Jason.
You should have told me. You should have.
Oh, I didn't want to
Dr.
burst your
Sean,
hope.
you should have given me your prognosis, Dr. Sean.
Oh, you know me, making those big bucks with my Pitt medical
Uh-huh.
degree.
You're right, exactly. Yeah,
Yes, my
and my
Pitt medical
SVU
degree and my
law
20
degree.
seasons of Grey's Anatomy before I finally jumped ship.
Uh-huh.
So, and a good
Yeah.
maybe 5 years of ER back in the day, like, so I
Well,
I
and
have a lot of
the Law and
hmm?
Order law degree too. That's where I get all my.
I got mine from the School of the Good Wife, thank you, but,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Mm. That
yeah,
helped me
really.
pass the bar, but my early learnings were okay. Let's get
Alright.
into maybe a little bit of our collection for this week. How about that?
Hell yes, let's do it.
All right. So something that was really, I thought, really nice and bright and shiny, and also, gave a little bit of a middle finger to our administration. There was a federal appeals court that handed down a ruling. It was the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals. It sided with transgender athletes in Minnesota, rejecting efforts to ban trans kids from competing in girls' sports. The thing that I really liked about it, like, obviously, let's go ahead and celebrate that. But the thing I really liked
Yes.
was the court panel explicitly stated that Trump's executive orders are not, quote unquote, settled law, writing that executive guidance and agency findings in and of themselves do not reflect settled law and cannot independently establish a likelihood that certain policies or conduct violate federal rights.
Thank goodness. And I think that's been the
Right?
thing, right? Is that we have had to wait a long time for a lot of these cases to finally reach this
That's
point.
the tough part. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But the fact that
And
we're
yeah.
adjudicating against our self-appointed lifelong whatever he thinks he is,
Yeah.
whatever he has plans for, whatever he believes he's doing by writing hundreds and hundreds of quote unquote executive orders, the fact that we're actually adjudicating against them actually gives me a little bit of hope that we're just not going to roll over and allow this administration to steamroll the Constitution and dismantle it piece by piece.
Despite their efforts, you're absolutely right, and I think that
Yeah.
that's really important because there, I think, has been this feeling of like, why isn't anything happening? Why are these horrible things? Because it was just sort of, especially in the beginning, it was a long list of executive orders
Yeah.
and big, scary, really big, like shifting things for society and for many people and communities. And so to finally get to this place where there are several that are just courts are basically saying this is not lawful. This is not based in anything constitutionally accurate. So you cannot just whip this around and make this happen because there's a million other little things that have to fall into place. So I'm
Right.
grateful that despite maybe some lack of faith in our systems, our courts, the federal courts, are thankfully doing their job a lot of the time. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, I totally agree. I feel like we should probably do maybe even a whole episode on like the whole idea around trans athletes participating in college
Mm,
sports. Um, it's obviously a really important topic. There's lots of nuance, lots of variability. So I don't want to just gloss over it and say, right, and just do. I would be doing it a disservice. It's a really important
yeah.
topic, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're really ruling against a lot of this bullshit that's kind of coming out of the White House. It's really kind of gives me hope, actually.
Well, when you look at the stats too,
Yeah,
they've shown over and over again, despite what people want to believe, that
right,
trans athletes do not show any sort of ability that is making them surpass their counterparts in a way that is definitive. Like, yeah, they might be better than individual competitors, which is true
sure,
for any sport, but it's
right,
not like this. Here they are above and beyond the field, and then the rest of them who were born of that sex.
right.
So I
No,
just
they're not
that to
winning all the
me,
medals. They're not setting all the
no.
records. Yeah, there's no domination that's happening.
Right, and I think
Right.
it's an incredibly small group of people anyway, so anyway, it's just a way to distract us from more
It
important
is.
things because you mentioned it in a past episode, like, they wanna find a common thing to be afraid of, and, we're not gonna give it to them, so
Exactly.
yay.
Yeah. So again, it's just a story about systems working the way that they're supposed to, right? a little bit of maybe in the Venn diagram of hope and competency. There's a little, there's some overlap there, but
Yeah.
people and institutions refusing to abandon principles even under pressure, like that's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
confidence, I think, absolutely gives you hope because when you feel like something is working the way it's supposed to in a way that is not favoring something, but is truly walking as close to neutrality as possible,
Mm.
it does give a sense of, yes, that's what normalcy is supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we just,
Yeah.
I think it's been a long time since it's felt like that we've had any sense of normal. So
I've heard
bring
I've
it.
actually seen, yeah, well, exactly. No, I've
Yeah.
seen more and more clips of people, podcasts or TV shows, talk shows, things like that, where people keep saying 2019 feels like it was a lifetime ago, and I know we've talked about that, right? In just a couple episodes ago, but even 2020 feels like
Oh my
this, just
gosh.
these last 6 or 7 years just feels so right, and more people are saying that. So I know that we're not alone in this particular sentiment. Like
Yeah.
we're just exhausted. But something that was really invigorating, if we want to flip it
Yes.
around,
Yes. Let's get into it.
was Artemis and Artemis II. So we're talking about hope and Hopecore this week, if that wasn't explicit in what we're talking about in conversation so far. But April 10th, which this recording was just about a week and a half ago, 4 astronauts splashed down off the coast of San Diego. They completed a nearly 10-day journey, the first time humans traveled toward the moon in more than 50 years, which, did you know that? I forgot that we sort of
I did.
abandoned the whole moon space program. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I'm turning 50 this year. I've grown up thinking that we were just on regular missions or something like, but no, we haven't been there since before I was born.
No, no. We've sent a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. We've sent people up into space, I think, to then send other satellites deep into space or to
Right.
repair things,
Yeah.
or go on space stations that
Hubble
are trying to
telescope.
be
Right.
formed. But yeah, like
Yep.
actual moon
Yeah.
missions, and
Yeah.
especially this one, like that, yeah, it is really weird to think. Maybe because too, I don't know about you, but like I grew up during a time like Apollo 13 was such a is that the right number? Is it Apollo 13?
I don't know. I don't know all the
Wait, the
space
movie.
mission
Remember the
numbers.
movie with Tom Hanks?
Oh, Apollo 11.
Apollo 11. Is it
I think
oh
it was
god.
11. Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Apollo.
We're looking it up. This is a real time edit.
Okay. No, it is 13. Oh, thank
Oh,
God.
good job. Okay, good. Yeah.
I think
See, I don't know. Yeah.
11 was I think the one where they actually made contact on the moon, like the very first one.
Uh, okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm making this shit up.
But
But
didn't
anyway,
land.
Apollo 13 was the movie. So
Yeah.
anyway, I feel like
Uh,
I was growing up like that was like 1995. I was in fourth or fifth grade at the time. So
mhm.
that was very instrumental in terms of the wonder of space. And I think
Yeah.
space was just talked about way more. And so to, I think, have this come back, I'm so glad there's children and obviously all of us who are getting
Yeah.
to get that again because it is something so fantastical when you really think about it.
It's almost uniting in a way where
Oh,
we
yeah.
all have this shared experience of awe and admiration and hope for this mission, right? Like I recently got into the show For All Mankind
Mm,
on Apple TV, and obviously it's fictional, but like, and it's set in, I think, the fictional 60s and 70s, and
mm.
but it's this the number of things that have to go perfectly for a mission like that to get it's tens of thousands of things have to go perfectly, not just
Yeah.
right. Everything's got to go for it to actually, it just blows me away. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Oh
was really
yeah.
cool.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I happened to I was turning something on and I caught like the last few minutes of an ABC interview
Yeah.
that was on the nightly news with the 4 astronauts after they
Yeah.
had landed. I think it was their one of their first ones that they had done since I think coming back and kind of
Yeah.
reacclimating. And they were talking about how they said, the liftoff obviously is one thing, but the touchdown coming back is way more intense, way
I can't even
more
imagine.
like
Yeah.
basically it's blinding because of the heat and like
Yeah.
entering the atmosphere and basically like watching like looking at what the actual uh spaceship looks like after the fact and the fact like I mean they just the way they described it almost sounded transcendent in a way
Hmm.
of just this is incredible like yeah so there's just so many things about it that feel very I think we just needed something that feels larger than life in a good way. We've had a larger than life uh, tragedies and scary stuff. And now
Hmm.
it's like, yes, give us something where people are finding out things and talking to each other and working together in a really beautiful way. And I'm imagining we're going to get into that some.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you described it really, really well. That's what I get out of it when I watch stuff like that or invest in stuff like that. Like I'm just excited and I can almost feel it in like the shared consciousness level.
Yeah.
Like we're all just excited about it, right? What's really cool is that piece, and I know you heard about this, but like the big group hug, like that was the
Yeah.
thing that the where so I didn't know this exactly, but so apparently the crew asked mission control for permission behind his back, behind Reed Wiseman, one of the astronauts, asked them for permission to name the crater that they were going to go
Mm,
photograph or whatever after his late wife. And I was like, oh
yeah.
my gosh. And then they all group hugged in zero gravity when they did it. It makes me emotional just talking about it. Like it's
Yeah.
such what a beautiful, beautiful, not just tribute to someone important to one of the crew members, but that they could all come together after years of work and then do this really, really special thing for one of them, like on this mission. We
Yeah.
all just fell in love with, I think, the four of them when we heard about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah.
too, when I have to imagine your partner has to be such a massive partner in allowing this to happen if you
Yeah.
have a healthy relationship. And so to lose someone in the process of all of this happening over years
Hmm.
and then getting to witness something literally out of this world and getting to immortalize her and the emotion that they all shared together. I think it was so beautiful. I mean, they were openly crying together,
Yeah.
and I think that
Little
to me
tears
was
floating around.
also a really important thing to say, that it wasn't just
Yeah.
like, "Yep, that's a crater named after my deceased wife," you know, "Go America." Like, no, it was, "We're gonna sit here, we're gonna say it, we're gonna get choked up, we're gonna be here in this moment, and allow the beauty of that grief, but also of that wonder to take over."
Yeah. It was super, super special. And we got to witness it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just was awesome. It was really, really super bonding. So astronaut Wiseman, he said, we are bonded forever. No one on Earth is ever gonna know what the four of them just went through. Like we got a tiny little taste of it, right? With some of the videos and stuff like that. But he said it was the most special thing that will ever happen in my life. Not cool?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
gotta be so freaking weird. It's like you 3 the other 3 have to depend on you and you on them to make this all work. I mean, I know there's a bunch of people down on Earth who are
Sure,
also
sure, sure.
trying to help guide, but they're not up there in space. They're, when things go
Yeah.
wrong, they've got to navigate that on a physical level. And so that I can't imagine that that doesn't bond you for life if you wanted it to or not.
Yeah. Can we also just for a second, just acknowledge that they were on a 10-day trip in a tiny little space capsule.
Mhm.
10 days. It's not like they had regular showers. It's not like they had comfy hotel beds. It's not like these people were in this little box for 10 days.
Yeah.
doing all of this
Yeah.
incredible. That part just blows me away, right? Like the amount of time just traveling, just like anyway.
But
I
imagine how
that
many times they probably practiced doing
Sure,
that
I'm
in
sure,
over the years and
and
captivity and all that stuff. Oh, did I?
yeah,
Okay. At first I was like, did I freeze? I kind of froze. Anyway,
you
sorry on
did.
my
Yeah,
end.
that's okay. Yeah,
Um,
it's all right.
I'll be fine. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. Again, competence. Competence can, make really beautiful things happen. They wouldn't have been able to pull all that stuff off if people on every end of the spectrum of this hadn't done the best of their work and capability.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is a great example of the main thing that I wanted to talk about today, which is something called Hopecore. And
Hopecore!
Hopecore, yeah, you're aware of this. What's funny is I keep probably going back, oh, I don't know, at least 5 years. I started hearing more something core, and I think one of the big ones that stuck out to me was cottage core. Did you ever?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you? Yeah,
Oh,
co-
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
2020, Taylor
right.
Swift, her
Uh
album
huh.
was cottagecore to the hilt. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. I still want to live in cottagecore. It's amazing.
It's like the fantasy of the cabin in the woods, right?
Yes, with
Away from everything,
rustic
where you just
finishes, but
Mhm.
perfectly put together.
And
For
you have
me, at least.
all the
Yeah.
things that you need, and you never have to worry about running out of them. And
Yes.
it's a fantasy, but
But
it's
it's still
also
quaint and, like, lived
yeah,
in and all that stuff,
right,
but we're talking about
exactly.
Hope Core.
Hope Core, yeah, Hope Core. So
Yes.
I'll just give a little bit of this brief little background. So some of my internet research kind of identified this, that it began around 2022. So this is just 4 years ago. And there's some places that attribute it to like TikTok, and some other places. Always hard in the internet age to kind of like put a finger on
Point
exactly where
what?
things, right? Yeah, exactly. But the whole idea behind it is that we're resisting the dread, right? We're
Mhm.
cultivating and curating reels and videos, and just other audio and visual media that really kind of push against the, the existential dread that is just everywhere right now. It's sort of like inherent in our uh, civilized world existence that we're in.
Yeah.
But what I really like about it is that it isn't toxic positivity. It doesn't
Right.
deny that the world is hard. It's really just meant to be a salve, right? It's really just meant
Yeah.
to be something that we engage in from time to time, that really kind of reinstills the beauty and the hope that the world is not as terrible as the news would maybe want to make it out to, right?
Yeah, I think it reminds us that simultaneous to other things happening, you can
Mhm.
always look for really positive things. You can
Mhm.
look for good things, and they are nonstop happening. It's just they're not usually necessarily as loud or
Mhm.
as in your face, but they are out there. You just
Mhm.
have to choose to look for them. But also, like you said, the key is it's not about saying the hard shit doesn't exist. It's in spite of it and because of the hope that we keep going despite
Mhm.
the hard shit.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a favorite piece of Hopecore that you like to engage in?
Mm. I mean, God. I mean, to me, like listening to music is hope core for me because it lifts me
Is it?
to a different yeah. Like I think that it allows me to feel things and elevates me, especially like if I want to
Mm,
feel good. I know the artists that can like unlock things and the
mm,
lyrics that really hit a certain feeling in a really beautiful way.
yeah.
When I was thinking about this topic, I really uh, was like, well, you know what? Honestly, if by fitting the definition of what we just mentioned about Hope Core,
Yeah.
therapy is Hope Core. What we do is Hope Core because
But
we work with people every
you're
single
right.
day talking about
You're
their
right.
hardest shit.
Hmm.
And if we're doing our job right, and of course, when it's appropriate, like it's not going to be somebody comes in and lays out something devastating and we're like, but
Clearly.
the plants and the trees and the universe. Like, no, I mean, but
Yeah.
you can't just be like, that really sucks, Sally. well, I'll see you next time. Like,
Mm.
it's just that's they people need hope. And so therapy, I think, is us, our job as therapists is to always go, remember who you are, remember
Yeah.
what's out there, remember in spite of this valley, there are still peaks you have not yet climbed. And that when I thought about that, I was like, "Ah, I love my job for those reasons when I can think about it that way. But the work is not it's not easy. Hopecore is not easy necessarily.
It's not. It's such an honor to be able to do the work that we do.
Yeah.
I love that I get to remind people of those things, and I kind of come from the background of narrative therapy. I know
Mhm.
you and I have talked about this before. That is essentially what
Yep.
that modality is, right? Is looking for the bright and shiny points in someone's story of doom and gloom and going, well, if you experienced that and you're still alive, like how did you get through that? And we don't always remember. We don't always remember
No.
that we are resilient or that we are skilled or that we are fortunate or that we are supported by others, right? We don't always include these hopeful factoids in our stories. And so
Yeah.
when I can hear somebody say something and I'm like, well, how did you get from A to B? Oh, well, my best friend helped me through that. Oh, really? Like that's a real, right? Like this, just those small shining little glimmers really does help instill. So yeah, you're right. I like bringing that back around to the work that we do. It's really awesome.
Well, I
I
think you
think
just
for,
said oh, sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna include too that I think it also points out exactly why talking to people and connecting with people is so vital to our
Hmm.
survival because when we are in our own silos and vacuums, we we can get so caught in like a whirlpool of our shitty messaging that we have absorbed and repeat and replay to ourselves over and over
Mm-hmm.
again. And so when we talk to friends, when we talk to family members and talk to therapists who help us remember who we are, but then also reframe situations to help us gain new meaning from the
Yeah.
things we've gone through,
Yeah.
that is what helps us break out of the way that we defined it for ourselves before we found other ways of including hope in that story, hopefully in some way.
Right.
I just think
Yeah.
that's amazing.
No, it's great. Yeah. It's a really great point. I think I was just thinking about like some of my favorite Hope Core. Like if I'm gonna go right to like internet stuff,
Mhm.
is reels and videos about I don't know why it's so resonant, but when good stuff happens to kids, like
Oh, yeah.
like one of the things I see often is like like 8, 9, 10-year-olds, and they're getting like a cochlear implant for the first time,
Oh,
and they
I
hear,
love those videos.
right, like they hear
Even
their
if they're
mom's
adults, I
voice,
just love those videos
even
so
if,
much.
right, or they hear
Ugh,
their own voice or they hear their parents' voice for the first time, and they just go, and it's just so overwhelming for them, right? Usually
yeah,
they start crying or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, the world is beautiful.
yeah.
Or when they move away and their parents secretly reunite them, and they have like a play date, but they didn't know that their best friend from
Oh,
last year
yeah,
was
yeah,
good,
yeah, yeah.
and they're like reunited with their best friend. I'm like, oh my god, yeah.
Or when
So
soldiers come
yeah,
home and their dogs see them,
oh, the
that
dogs, yes,
that will I
yeah,
mean,
the
even I've
dogs,
seen beautiful
yeah,
ones with cats. I will say animals always give me hope
animals.
core
That's the one.
because that to
That
me, I love a video where I have them my algorithm set up well where there are animals that take in other baby animals that have been orphaned
uh-huh.
or they've
Yeah,
been just whatever dismissed by their parent
yeah.
and other animals take them in and treat them as their own and that's why we can learn so much from looking around us outside of us and other organisms that know how to work together despite being biologically completely different in so many ways.
Yeah, just looking to nature for other examples of
Yeah.
I don't know, love or social support, something, right? Like, yeah,
I mean, even
yeah.
the I love just the fact of how I know this is becoming increasingly known, but I didn't know this for many years that trees often come from squirrels not remembering where their nuts are because they buried them in the ground.
They
Like,
buried too many of them.
they buried
It's a
too many of
number.
them and they
It's a
forget.
numbers game. Yep.
Yes,
And
and so
they
we
find the
have
ones they
squirrels
find.
to
Yep.
thank,
Uh huh. Uh
right?
huh.
For
We do.
trees that pop up, like, they so many trees are in our world, which then give us shelter, which gives us oxygen, which gives us so many different I mean, they're so vital to
Mm-hmm.
our ecosystem, so, like, I love even accidental hope core in a way is so beautiful to me because it just shows that sometimes happy accidents happen from things that weren't intended.
You know what's funny? You're talking specifically about something that that the astronaut crew. I'm going to bring it back to Artemis for a second.
Yeah, no, please.
That the astronaut crew they came up with this term. They call it the joy train, and they did this during the 3 years that they were working together. They made a deliberate, chosen commitment, which this is what you're describing, a chosen commitment to collective joy as a strategy, not like as a mood, not as toxic positivity, but as a practice, as something that they would
Mhm.
actively practice and engage in. It was like a almost like you're talking about, like a therapeutic concept that was just wrapped up in teamwork in a
Yeah.
choice that this group made, right? So they're going to look for the bright sides. They're going to look for the awesomeness. And that is a lot of what you and I do, is reframe
Yes.
things and bring other perspectives in and go, how about this? And how about this? So I just thought it was just really cool little tie-in that you found there.
Well, and being deliberate, I think that's such an
Yeah.
important point that a lot of I think our clients will maybe that's where some resistance comes in. And even just
Mhm.
talking to people when they talk about wanting things differently for themselves, you have to deliberately push against those things that make us believe that doesn't get better or it's too hard.
Uh-huh.
And eventually it's sort of like crashing through the atmosphere that if you keep going, you might get a little bruised and banged up, but you
Uh-huh.
will land if you keep going most of the time. And I think that that's something that we have to remind ourselves that you can't just yeah, sometimes things swoop in and it's like we get something that saves the day, but that doesn't usually last forever and it's not enough. We have to be deliberate and practice these things even if it maybe feels daunting.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Millhouse. That was profound. I love that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes every every now and then that my parents are like, they're that's why we helped him with that degree. Um,
Yeah,
so
that's
thanks,
great.
thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Uh-huh. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So one more piece of this Artemis thing before we can kind of move on from this is also the mirror. And I feel like you're also talking about this. So one of the astronauts said, so this is Hansen said, I would suggest to you that when you look up here, you're not looking at us, but that we are a mirror reflecting you. And if you like what you see, then just look a little deeper. This is you. Isn't that beautiful?
There was so many beautiful things that I caught over time. The way that they spoke, it made me remember why I felt really proud to be, I think, a human,
Mm.
and an American human again,
Sure, sure.
because I think it's been so long since we've seen people acting like they
Mm.
want to do the right thing in a very public way and
Right.
not
Somebody on a public
for
stage
and not just
behaving this
for,
way.
like,
Yeah.
power grabbing, like, they had
Nope.
there
Hmm.
was no need for them to do any of that. They literally could have just done their mission, and it still would have been amazing. It still would have been really
Hmm.
cool, but the fact that
Hmm.
they demonstrated all of these little ways that were really big ways in the end to connect and find hope and to show a mirror of what is possible when we come together and look for good, that is something that we are missing so much in our news, in our leaders, in our media. And I think that that's hopefully, I don't know, maybe that was my maybe this is my big bold projection. In a couple years, hopefully things are going to come out and we're going to just have a slew of hope core media. Like, I think Ted Lasso is one of those, right? Like,
You're
I
right.
think about
Yeah.
Ted Lasso as one of those shows that I've never heard someone go, "Oh, I feel worse after watching Ted Lasso." No, people
No.
always say, "Oh, that show just it's so good and sweet. It makes me feel good." And they're it's just such a whatever, great show. And so I'm hopeful that maybe people are going to get inspired by this and then produce more art that doesn't just feel like dystopian nightmare fuel.
Right. They're really they're the best of us. They're
Yeah.
not
Oh,
just
yeah.
not just the smartest or most disciplined or hardest working, but even to bring it back to just the human race, like they did,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To bring grief up with
Mm,
them, to bring a reflection of if you like what we're doing, like look at yourself also,
yeah.
right? Like it's so inspiring, but also in a humble way. That to me is the best hope core.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is. It's so
Yes.
inspiring, so admirable that you do. You just want to be like that. You want to try and emulate that. I hope you're right. I hope we do get a whole more. I see more and more, I guess, dedicated Instagram or social media pages to good news, and I
Yeah.
try and follow them whenever they kind of come up. Right, or I'm like, yeah, this is inspiring, and this is showing me advancements in science, and this is right. Well, whatever, all of the like really awesome things that are also happening. So,
Yes. So much
wow.
needed.
Why do you think it's so much needed? Like, why is it just because what is it because of what you said? Like, is it because things have been just so dark and gloomy and
I
terrible?
think
Or do
so.
you feel like
Yeah.
is there a deeper, more like existential need for things like this?
I think both are absolutely true. And when I don't know, I that's I know for some people they look at 2019 as the last normal year. I really look at
Yeah.
2015 as one of the last normal
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I really think it's been a long time since it felt like we weren't on a race to the bottom. And
I
right?
hate
And
that.
right, but it really I feel like we've seen
Hmm.
the worst of people, and it's been a lot
Yeah.
of and to some degree, this was necessary. There are a lot of things, laws and ways of living that have
Yeah.
not benefited many people, and so we absolutely need to do better, and that does not go away, which is exactly what Hopecore is not saying, that that needs to be
Right.
silenced or in spite of, it's because of as well. And so I think that we need to see that's gonna be okay. And these moments make us go, okay, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, but right here, right now, I have this amazing thing that I got to witness of
Mm.
these astronauts doing this work and the first female to go that far,
Hmm.
into space. And just there's so many cool moments about that. So yeah, I think that we just need it. We need it, and I think we've been afraid to embrace it, like as if it's going to be Pollyanna of us to do it, or to yeah. I think earnestness is not often celebrated enough, and I would love to see that come back because, God damn it, we need it.
I think there's been, so you're absolutely right. Like earnestness is part of it. There's also been what I feel like I've grown up in or seen since maybe leaving school or since college has been this depreciation in the value of education
Yeah,
in the US, right? I know
yeah,
you're aware of it. I know we both see it. It's just difficult that like we praise it's not even praise people for being dumb. It's that we I know it sounds ridiculous to say it that way, but really what it is we denigrate people for being smart.
yeah,
We tear them down. We go, stop being so hoity-toity, or stop
yeah,
being so
yeah. A
bougie, or stop
know-it-all.
being so a know-it-all. We have all kinds of words and phrases for people who are educated and display intelligence publicly. And
Yeah.
yet we look to the astronauts, who are probably some of the smartest people on the planet. We go, these people are amazing. We need more of these people. But then in everyday culture, we we dig on somebody who gets straight A's or something, and I'm like, well, you can't have it both. You can't have it both ways. We really do need more of that going on. We need more
Yeah.
intelligence. We need more value around education, I think, in order
We need
just
to
to,
support
yeah.
teachers. If you know a teacher or work with a teacher or are a
Mhm.
teacher, you know it is brutal out there. It is brutal
So,
out there
so hard.
on
Yep.
every level with the little ones, middle schoolers, high schoolers,
Mhm.
college level. Education has been so under attack. And this is stuff that has happened way before the last 10
Mm.
years. This stuff happened decades
Oh,
ago.
I know. Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah.
so anyway, I only say that because these are systems that need protection anyway. And our teachers are the very first outside influence that
Mm.
really helps to begin building those blocks of, hey, you can do this thing that you haven't learned before, and then another thing and another thing, and we're not supporting them enough and the systems needed for that to happen. And so I
Mm.
think that that's also, I don't know, I hope that maybe more leaders are going to pop up and fight for that and better pay equity and equality and all that stuff. But in the meantime, like we just have to look and find and support things that really are giving and helping things grow to become better.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, because I'm such a space nerd, I really did. I grew up
That
loving
space is
things like,
amazing. Yeah.
it's incredible. But I even had like a giant like Haley's Comet poster on my wall when I was like 9 years old. So I've loved this
Mm.
stuff like my whole life. But I thought it'd be a great little tie-in to talk about that movie that came out last month, Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
I know you didn't see it, and I actually
Not
haven't
yet.
seen the movie either, but I read
Oh,
the
you
book.
haven't?
And no, I haven't actually seen. Yeah, I've been. I don't know if I can't. My husband's not a really big sci-fi space person, and he's usually the one that I go to the movies with. And so I'm like, maybe I'll just wait till it comes out on streaming, like I do
I
with
would
a lot
go
of
with
things. But
you. If you wanna go, I will go with you
let's do
because
it.
I've heard it's
Yeah,
worth seeing in the theater, and I heard that they're extending it because of how well it's done, and they really want it to be a true movie theater experience.
yeah.
So, let's do
So
it. Let's truly
and
do it.
everything that I've read, it says that it's very faithful to the book, which actually gives me a little bit of hope. Because a
I've
lot of times,
heard the best
yeah,
things
Hollywood will,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah, a lot of
Yes.
times Hollywood will destroy books
Ugh,
and turn them
yeah.
into garbage, right? But it's a really cool. So for anybody who doesn't know the story around the book slash the movie, it's about a lonely middle aged middle school science teacher who wakes up alone on a spacecraft. Which, holy shit, that would be scary. But and he literally has no memory of how he got there, but he kind of pieces together slowly. He's been sent on this mission to save Earth from extinction. There's some
No
stuff
big deal.
happening to like yeah, it's no big
No
deal, just
pressure.
on your own, just no pressure, just you all by yourself. There's
Yeah.
actually some really good reasons. I don't want to get into all the super
Right,
details just
yeah.
because it'll spoil it. But yeah, but like the sun is dying or something along those lines. So it's clearly like something he probably won't survive this whole thing. He has to travel super far and blah blah blah. But then he finds out he's not alone in this particular quest, which he meets Rocky, which is what
Barbie.
the
Oh, wait, wrong
yeah,
movie.
no, wrong movie, wrong movie. Ryan Gosling and
Margot
no,
Robbie's
no, no,
not in this one.
not Margot Robbie. It's not right. It's Rocky. Yeah, Rocky. So I'm not going to give
Margot
away
Rocky?
who. You're such a dork.
Sorry.
So yeah, it's yeah. But he meets
Anyway,
Rocky. I'm not going to give away who Rocky is, but Ryland Grace. This is Ryan Gosling's character, Ryland Grace. So astronaut Grace, middle school science teacher slash astronaut Ryland Grace. He meets up with Rocky, and he and Rocky work together to save the universe.
woo woo.
But it's something that I admittedly like Hollywood is pretty good at, right? They're pretty good at
Mhm.
telling stories that kind of end on an upbeat and like, save the world and the hero wins and blah, 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 and all that. But like this is done on a scale that we don't see very often. Like this includes light years of travel by
Mhm.
astronauts, which is again, you don't see it very often especially when it's done well, right? And this
Yeah.
story, like not only is it that huge, that kind of a scale, but it's also very, very small and very intimate. And I don't know how faithful the movie will be to certain aspects of how Grace and Rocky actually become friends. But in the book, like there's some pretty like intimate sounds, makes it sound like sexual, and it's not, but it's
Right.
like, but there are things around like eating and sleeping that are different between Rocky and Grace, and it's very sort of touchy to the both of them, but they learned how to navigate it and become more comfortable with it and really develop this kind of intimate friendship. It's really cool. Like
That's cool.
it's a really cool relationship, really cool story about it. But I just thought it really fun to bring this up. Like it's about Grace really is kind of representative of every person who I know we're both sort of in the middle-aged midlife thing, but every person who woke up midlife was really not quite sure how they got there or what they're
Who
supposed to
looks like Ryan
do,
Gosling, poor
and who
guy.
looks like Ryan Gosling with all of the chest and the abs, and we all wake up like
Gorgeous
that
hair,
sometimes,
yes.
right? Just all those things, yeah, gorgeous,
Mhm.
all the gorgeous hair. But but I think I see this a lot in bringing it back again to mental health, to therapy. I see this a lot. I see not necessarily like 40s when it's there's definitely people in their 40s, but I see this a lot like late 20s, early to mid 30s, where people are like, I've been doing what I was told to be doing for the last 10 or 15 years, and none of this shit feels good. Like, help.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
to do next. Help. And that's literally why they come to therapy, right? I know you and I have had this conversation many, many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's representative of people like this. It's obviously in a huge, fantastical astro voyage kind of a way, but he really is that person. He doesn't really understand or have any like purpose, and then he finds this really intense save the planet, right? Really intense purpose with his
Yeah.
life, and then has to navigate through all these things. It's just a really cool, yeah. Anyway, it's a really cool story.
I really want to see it. And I also too, I think what this has I was thinking it before you even mentioned this as a topic, just
Mhm.
to, be what is the I forgot what there's many different ways to say like oh yeah like talking baseball or whatever it is when people say like behind the scenes stuff about a certain line of work is that I have been thinking like I know many of our recent episodes have been, and I think they've just been meeting the moment, but they
Mhm.
have been critical. They've been and talking about feeling scared, talking about feeling like the injustice is too much. And
Yeah.
I was like thinking, maybe we need to have at least like one Hopecore thing that we talk about a week,
Oh,
or an
every
episode.
time, each week, yeah, yeah,
Like
sure.
we maybe start off, or I think it's really important to do this because it's good for us because
It
we
is.
what we talk about is what's on our minds. Like we're not
Mhm.
just talking about things because like it's there. It's these are important, or we think that it's meaningful for people to hear about. But also I think we have to remind ourselves that if we don't create it and then be outputs for it, then we're not doing our podcast right. So,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. So, what do you think?
I actually think we do that in maybe a smaller way when we do shout outs.
We do. We do.
Yeah.
Maybe
To
it's
me,
more
that
personal. So maybe that's what I like about is coming up with something that's more general information that is beyond just what we love and are shouting out.
Yeah.
yeah, I like it. Yeah. I'm not saying no.
Stay tuned, folks.
Stay upcoming episodes. We're going to be all sunshine and rainbows. No, that's not
That's a
actually
lie.
true.
That's a lie. That
That's not
means
true.
I
Yeah.
must not be a part of the show anymore. I'm way too much of a realist and a part-time
I
cynic
know.
for that shit.
Yeah.
But I do love me some hope.
Yeah. Yeah. But I like that part-time cynic. Yeah. That's interesting. That's an interesting. So
Part-time
anyway,
cynic and a full-time
that's just an
friend.
aside. But here's a little bit of, I'm going to bring it back to Hopecore just for a second. So the little bit of the crossover between Artemis and Project Hail Mary, what they're talking about in terms of like creating that hope is, they're saying like the antidote to this despair, to this existential angst that we feel, is not certainty, right? The astronauts didn't have certainty at any point in their mission. They had to navigate thousands of very important variables all the way through. It's the antidote is connection. It's creating those, it's choosing the person next to you, right? It's creating those relationships when we really need them. It's cultivating those friendships and those social connections because we know it makes us better and makes us stronger. And in a world that's so divided, so more disconnected than we've ever been.
Yeah.
That is what both of these examples, I think, are demonstrating to us, is that really to instill hope, really to get over and past and live alongside the existential dread. We can't deny that it's there.
Right.
It's to connect with other people and find some common humanity and to help each other and love one another. Sounds a little Pollyanna to say it that way, but it's so true. It really is very true. I'll die on that hill.
Isn't it sad too? I think like we make these it's almost like we feel compelled to make these disclaimers about this is really earnest, this is really Pollyanna.
I know.
And
Yeah.
it's just because I think there's so much hate out there, especially we are in an increasing
Yeah.
online world.
Mhm.
And what is, I think that Taylor Swift said something like, what you put on the internet will try to kill, and what you put in your mind is basically what you're feeding yourself, or something like that. I'm totally
Oh,
messing
okay.
that up, but it's like we have to be better about not engaging in the fray in a way that is contributing to killing joy or killing people having a moment of levity or
Yeah.
kindness
Yeah.
or lightness. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think that is becoming the radical thing nowadays, which is so fucking weird to say, that it's like more punk rock to be hopecore than it is to be a rebel, because we live in the days of living like rebels, I guess, when you
Mhm.
feel like the world is coming at you hard.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm here for it. Let's do the next chapter.
I know you said you're a realist and a part-time cynic. I feel like I skew maybe slightly in the other direction. Like
Oh yeah.
I definitely can understand the realism, but I think I'm more idealistic, or maybe hopeful, just more naturally.
Yeah.
And so I do tend to look at things that way. And I think you're right. We just need to stop apologizing for putting it out into the world. There was something that was circulating a while back, and I grabbed onto it for a minute, and then I let go of it. It was, tell your friends you love them, do it a lot, make it weird. I love, like, it's literally
Yeah.
saying, like, it's gonna be awkward, and like, just don't give a fuck. Like, people need to hear that they're loved. People need to
Yeah.
know that their connections are important, and that they exist as other humans, right? In our spheres. Tell them that you love them and appreciate them. Do it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I love that. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of what we're talking about, is we need to do more of that.
I feel like that's definitely something that I took for granted for a long time, because I grew up in a very loving family,
Yeah.
and luckily had lots of supportive people around me even during hard times. And as I've gone older, of course, the intersecting with more and more people, you find out that that's not the standard. That's not normal necessarily. There are
We were
lots of
both
people who
fortunate
never
that way.
hear "I
Yeah.
love you" from their parents.
It's
And
staggering to me.
that
Yeah.
to me just breaks my heart. It's like, why would you bring this organism into the world and then be like, I just can't say that to you. What the fuck? Like that to
Yeah.
me is brutal, but
Yeah.
that's why it's so important to say it. That's why it's so important to model it, because I think too, also, just like I used to feel way more optimistic. I do think life, kind of beat me around like it does.
Mhm.
But also I do think there's something about I think I have to reserve some of that back, because I think as a cisgender white man, I have to remember there are so many realities that I don't have to deal with on a daily basis that other people
Mm.
do, that I have no concept of other than what they tell me. And so I
Mhm.
think that and that part makes me sad, and I hate that people live with those things hanging over them. However, that also though is then hopefully part of my duty is to help alleviate that for them, but then also to
Mhm.
make it better through my own actions and hopefully getting other people to remember that privilege and all of those things too, so that maybe one day they don't have to have all that overhead hardship that people who are white, people who are heterosexual, people who are cisgender don't have to deal with.
Mhm. Yeah.
Not trying to make it down, but I think I always like to bring a crucial counterpoint to it, which is why I think Hopecore can be very hard. Because for some people, they're like, yeah, that sounds great. I love all those things. Also, my identity on a daily basis is questioned as if it's
Right.
real or not. So,
That's
it's hard.
that was
It's
the
hard.
yeah. I think that was the headspace that you just kind of brought me to when you were talking about that. Was like, not only do both of us have elements of privilege and not right, and things that we have to that are not systemically supported
Mhm,
automatically,
mhm.
but how difficult, like, it just reminded me of like how difficult things can be, and that we do need to hold both things.
Yes.
That's just kind of what we started talking about at the top of the episode. Like, we do need to be able to recognize that the world is terrible and difficult and challenging, even in ways that we are not don't always have visibility to. And it's also beautiful and wonderful and awe-inspiring and connective and all those things too, right? Like, it's just a hard duality to hold,
Yeah.
and we need to hold it.
I think, yeah, like that to me
Yeah.
is so crucial because especially I hope people can hear this is that's why paradox holding that is so
Mhm.
important is I don't want people to ever walk away from this and think, wow, he bitches so much about the United States. He really seems to hate it here. No, it's because of how much love I've had for the best parts of it and the dreams that have come true from the best of this place that I grieve when
Mm.
it doesn't show its best self and it isn't as sparkling and as strong as it could be. And that to me I think is the importance of remembering just because for some people there's lots of great things doesn't mean that it works for all people. But then also, just because I can criticize the United States, which is thank goodness in our Constitution, I
For the
also
moment.
no, god damn it, it's staying. We're winning this goddamn battle.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I I sorry. I
Yeah.
I refuse.
It's all good.
I also though like I can say fuck all this bullshit our country is doing and
Mm.
also I am so grateful. I have no idea what it's like to live in certain spaces around the world where the things that I have on a daily basis are but a dream for those
Mm.
people to ever think about having. Like to know that like this where I'm in this room where I get to do this thing that I love, and there are people who are
Mhm.
just trying to survive. And I think like that is where remembering privilege also gives you gratitude, but then also it keeps you humble. And so it's the constant juggling. That's how
Yeah.
you have to find hope and hope core is by remembering that you can say these are good, you can say these need to be better, and at the same time, let's just keep moving forward. And it's when we feel that is threatened that we start getting angry and anxious and shutting down. And I think that's what we have to do here is just continue to go. No, we're going to fucking keep going. We have to keep going.
We're going to jump onto the joy train. I don't have anything else to say about that. You nailed it all. That's really good.
Holla.
Hello. All right. So how about what are you taking away from our episode this week? What's resonating with you? What's stuck?
I think I'm taking away that I think people, I think apparently we need to be reading and seeing Project Hail Mary. So I think that's going to be
Yes.
one of my takeaways is to go and do that. We're going to set up a time to do that. And
Mhm.
then also I think I want to encourage anyone listening, watching, whatever, I encourage you to look for things that are getting better. Look for things that aren't as hard. Look for when
Actively, right? Actively look.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, which is, this is why we espouse gratitude. This is why we talk about going outside. It's because those things, doing those things allows you to be more opened up. And when you do that, your brain just continues to search for it. And again, it's about that deliberate practice. So if there's anything that feels deliberate in your life and practicing finding hopefulness and goodness is not a part
Mm-hmm.
of that deliberate daily action,
Mm-hmm.
I would highly, highly, highly recommend making that a very high priority as soon as possible.
Make it a choice, right? Make
Well,
it something
make
that
it
you.
not a choice. Make it, it has to be a requirement in your life to practice it.
Got it. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm saying choose it. I'm saying
I know what you
actively
meant.
choose it,
Yeah.
actively seek it. Yeah. Great.
I was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
being, dramatic.
No, yeah. No, I
Shocker.
love it. Yeah. I love it.
What
Anything
about
else?
you?
Any other? Yeah. So I think something that I will always come back to in I don't know, pretty much anything that we talk about is relationships. And I think I mentioned it maybe in the last episode about like if you want to be if you want to have a village, you need to be a villager, right? You need to show up for people. And so for me, the thing that kind of stands out is that like these bonds that are representative of by the astronauts and that show up in the movie and that we all appreciate and kind of aspire to, they're built. They're not just stumbled into. They're not just like maybe when we're 7 years old we accidentally find our best friend, right? Because when you're 7, life is that much less complex. It's that much easier. But we need to choose people, and we need to choose to build bonds with them
Yes. Yes.
because they carry us, they support us, they allow us to thrive. um yeah, for me that's just kind of what stands out. It's always the relational stuff.
I mean,
That's
we're
the stuff
nothing
that gives me
without
the
it.
most hope. Yeah, that's the stuff that
Yeah.
gives me the most hope, for sure. Yeah.
Which is why
Cool.
meeting new people is important because you
Yeah.
just don't know what you're going to learn from that connection. You
Mm-hmm.
just have no idea how that intersecting with that other person, what it does for you and what you might be doing for them, and the magic of that. To me, that is that's a miracle that when it happens, it's like the best thing ever.
I'll share something personal just really quickly that illustrates this. So this past weekend, we went to a memorial service for my husband's grandfather, and he's originally from like the Naperville area. His grandfather was, and it struck me during the service that had that man not done what he did, made the choices he made, lived the life that he did, I wouldn't be married to the man that I'm married to. Like it's a
Hmm.
real mind fuck to go that deep into the sort of butterfly effect, right, of somebody else's
Yeah.
life. But
Yeah.
truly, that man that I never knew before 2015, all of the things that he did have impacted my life in such a profound way. Like that it really, I don't know, it just really struck me this past weekend. It was profound.
Love that.
But
And I
that's
think
exactly right.
that's a
Yeah.
fun game to do. Game's a funny way of describing it, but I
Sure.
do love digging into if this hadn't happened and this hadn't happened and all the little strings along the way hadn't intersected,
Uh-huh.
like, I think about how the fuck did I get in Arkansas? And there's a lot of strings that got me here. And it's because of people that convinced me to make that decision.
Uh-huh.
And
Sure.
and
Yeah.
for the most part, it's been a great thing. And so
Yeah.
I love that you were able to connect with that and really
Yeah, me too.
have some real deep love for that
Yeah.
moment and for that gift.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
How about a secret question? You got one today?
I do got one. My secret question,
Mm-hmm.
as the great Rihanna once sang, we found love in a hopeless place. Jason, where have you recently found hope in a hopeless place?
Not love, but hope.
Yes.
Yeah. ooh, this is
Yeah,
a
an
good question.
unexpected place maybe.
Unexpected place to find hope.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna come back to my Achilles injury.
Mm.
I think I didn't really understand what my options were when I found out the extent of the injury. And after talking with the doctor and learning about like some of the surgical techniques that he might use and some of he calls it non-native tissue. It's basically just some
Mm.
technological surgical stuff that they add to a tendon when they repair it to strengthen it. It's actually stronger than a tendon, which phenomenal to me, right?
Yeah.
That gave me hope. I didn't expect to find it. I expected to hear about how arduous the recovery was going to be and how painful the post-surgical experience was going to be, and right, just like all of the terribleness that kind of comes
Yeah.
along with surgery.
Yeah.
But this was all about like how my tendon could potentially be stronger, and I was like, cool. That's
This is why
nice to
science
hear
is
that.
awesome.
I know.
And
This
this
is
is
why
why
people need to
people,
keep learning shit. Yep. Yep.
yes,
Yep. 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 Yep.
because
Yep. Yep.
these things keep getting better. Things like heart procedures,
Uh-huh.
hip replacements, this kind of stuff
Oh yeah.
have been game
Yeah.
changers that have allowed
Mhm.
for people to have better functionality after
Yeah.
they have needed surgery, which is, I know,
Mhm.
not always the thing that happens, but because of research and science and excellence in those fields, you have that option. So thank
Yeah.
goodness for that. And I
I
love
know.
that
Yeah.
you are finding that. I knew you would. I know that this has been tough. You are a very athletic person. You're a very
Yeah.
mobile person. I think that it would be hard for anybody, but especially somebody that I know really appreciates getting to be up and about and living your life. This is a tough blow, but I think this
Yeah.
is absolutely the way to look at it.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a good question. That was tough though. I
Yeah.
don't know that I ever,
You're
that I actually
welcome.
thought about it before that, but it's good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely good.
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah.
All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
What? All right. So if you could name something, a place, a thing, maybe even just like a moment or something, like after someone that you've lost, what
Mhm.
would it be, and why?
Oh, like after someone or like in memory
Like
of them?
they named the crater after his wife, right? After
Ooh.
Wiseman's wife. Like, what would you name, and who would you name it after, and why?
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
thought it was a good one.
That is a really
That's good.
good one.
Kind of proud of myself after that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, gosh, I would really, so, I mentioned in our finale last year that I lost my dad in January 2025. And
Mm.
so, that's definitely, there have had too many too many losses in the last uh handful of years, and then
Yeah.
that one has been one of the toughest for sure. And so the first thing I thought is like, ugh, if I ever could have enough money to donate either to a no-kill shelter or to
Mm.
a veterinary hospital. Like my dad, he just loved animals. He just, the way they gravitated towards him, the
Yeah.
way his compassion for them, the way he never gave up on them, like, to me, it just, those were the best parts of him. And also, it reminded me, like, I think just how important it is to be gentle with our creatures in this world. And
Mhm.
so if I could, like, one day name a shelter or a special place for animals in his honor, like, that would be a dream come true. Like,
I love that.
I would just love that. That's a great
That's a really
question. Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's a really nice
Thanks.
tie-in too. Like all of the things and all of the importance and all of the feelings, like all just kind of like, yeah, that's really beautiful.
I have to ask now, do you have an answer to that? You don't have to if you don't have it, but that was a really moving question.
Um, I mean, I think I've thought about this with my dog Gracie, who died maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. But not like, I don't know that I would name something like big in public. Like I would be like, this is Gracie's swing out here in the yard or something along those lines. Like I think,
Yeah.
I still might do that actually. Like we're kind of, as you know, like we're kind of putting together our backyard, and I think when everything's built and kind of said and done, like it might be kind of cool to do like, Gracie's Corner, some kind of
Um,
something, and just name it after her, and maybe her sister who also passed last year, Ella, like Gracie's something and Ella's something. Like it might be nice to do that.
yeah. Yeah.
So that's it's just my first thought.
I love that. Yeah.
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 How about our own version of mini Hopecore shout outs?
Yes.
What do you got?
Yes.
Any shout outs this week?
Nope. None. No, just kidding.
Nope. The world's terrible.
The world sucks. Fuck Hope. No. I wanted to give a shout out to shocker, to women. I wanted to give a shout out to women because I think something that women do specifically, this is what I would give shout out to, is I think women are really great at giving shout outs to their predecessors. And some very clear examples of that I've seen recently in pop culture and music is, well, first I will have to give a shout out that Taylor Swift's third single, Elizabeth Taylor, just came out. And what's cool, the song is, a play of kind of talking about how their Elizabeth Taylor and Taylor Swift's lives are very similar. But what she did is in the music video, it's literally a montage of Elizabeth Taylor's movies to the song. And then the proceeds went to like her charities
nice. Okay.
yeah. And so I love that she worked with the Elizabeth Taylor Foundation to, I think, give like a whole new generation. Like I knew of Elizabeth. I mean, Elizabeth Taylor was still alive when I obviously growing up, but
Sure.
there's a whole slew of people out there, young people who have no idea who Elizabeth Taylor is and how she was, as often described, was like the first Angelina Jolie. Like, and there's probably people who don't even remember how Angelina Jolie was, right? And so
You're right.
anyway, there's that. But
she was a
also,
megastar though of her time. She really was.
Star.
Yeah.
Like one of the, I mean, when you talk about movie star, Elizabeth Taylor is that girl. And so I loved that. But then also I gotta give it to Sabrina Carpenter. So she just did her 2 weekends at Coachella, where she was a headliner. And at the beginning of this show that she did, she had this really cool moment where it's supposed to be like her as an older woman at a drive-through reflecting on her life and kind of talking about it. And she literally got the first weekend, Susan Sarandon did a monologue and like was wearing a blonde wig to look like Sabrina Carpenter. And then this past weekend, it was Gina Davis. And so, of course, that's from Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise.
Yes. And like, I love that she gave these powerful, incredible actresses who I don't think we see enough of anymore. She gave them this platform again for her fans to see for the first time. There's probably a whole slew of people that have never seen these women in movies.
Right.
And then to top it off, she brought out Madonna.
I know. Yeah.
Set. And
that's what I thought you were going to talk about.
Yes. So that's what I love too, is that like, I mean, Madonna set the stage for every mainstream pop female artist that does dance pop out there. Like she started that whole thing, and to forget and not give credit like is foolish. And so I just love that. I think there's something happening even in just different, in Taylor Swift's, in her touring and in her who she does collaborations with, she likes to lift up younger artists. And so I think there's this generation giving that is happening, both respecting the past but then also extending a hand to the future, that I just think if all of us could do it, not just women. And I'm not saying, women aren't a monolith. I know there's plenty of, poor examples of people tearing each other down, but I'm all here for there being examples of honoring those who came before us, who allowed us to be where we're at, and then opening the door and saying, come on in. I made this really comfy for you. Go and rock
Yeah.
it for the younger
Yeah.
generations. I just think that's great.
And opening the door back up for people who are maybe not in their prime anymore and going, come on in here and take the credit, right? Thank you for breaking through the ceilings for us and setting the stage for us to be able to do what we do. It's incredible.
No, I just think if you're in that field, to not give respect to the people that make it possible to do the thing you love would be such a fatal flaw. And I think there is a different student of music that is happening with our artists nowadays. And I hope that just continues to happen.
It's all you sappy millennials giving credit.
We like our nostalgia.
Just as sappy as the next person. So yeah, I like that. That's a really good. It's a really good.
What about you? What's your shout out?
I was gonna do two. So one of them is for our little retreat that happened a couple weekends ago. It was really super. Actually, it was just a weekend. It was ago that we left. It was really nice. It was just really great to relax and connect and just be present with
in
you
nature at a beautiful lake house.
It was gorgeous. Like it was just such a relaxing weekend. I loved it.
It was a great reset, which I think is also, I will say for me too, I think that's been part of my kind of hope reset, honestly, was slowing the fuck down. I try to be not on social media as much as possible. And I either had quiet moments or joyful moments or whatever. I don't have to tell you, we were both there.
Or dance party moments.
Dance party moments. I mean, we had a great time. I just think this is a call to action. If you can do it, get a group of friends together, go rent a house, buy a body of water, and just exist. Just exist with each other.
Side by side.
Yeah.
Cook for each other, talk to each other, look at nature together. Like it's nice. It really is.
It's lovely. Yeah.
So that's my one. And then the other one, obviously, and we don't have to get into it, but the Pit finale aired and I know we've talked about it offline, but
what about Hopecore? I mean,
seriously.
That finale did not look like it was heading for Hopecore, and it truly gave us something beautiful.
We could do another 30 minutes talking about all of the nuances of that final episode, but man, was that good. Just so unexpected and so beautifully done. Just showing everyone sort of at the end of their rope while still holding on and truly holding on through the power of their relationships that they have with people. Like, I feel like Catherine Lanasa is such, like, the writers of that show are giving her such good stuff to grab onto. Not only is she performing it extremely well, but like she just has all of this. She is the nexus of that ER, and she just keeps everything together because of her relationships. She can snap at this one, and she can hug this one, and she can put this one in their place, and she can. It's life or death across the board, and she just Nurse Dana navigates it.
Please be president. We need a president who is tough and good at their job, but also is completely human. And that, yes, I love that. And I mean, can I also take this as a moment? Can we just announce it that when we go on hiatus later on this year, we've been talking about this for a long time. We are going to do Pit recap episodes starting with season 1. So
copy that.
Jason
and we're going to have
excited.
Noah Wiley on every episode.
I wish, Jesus.
Probably not that part, but
no.
Recaps, yes, we will.
I think the reason why, obviously, it's a huge show, and that's like it's very of our pop culture in this moment, but also the intersections of mental health are it's so deeply entrenched in the show. It never ignores it. It always includes it. And I think that to me speaks to what we do here, is finding stories that talk about human experiences, the ugly and the beautiful, and finding a way I think, again, to find solutions and work together and get through it. And I think we're both very passionate about getting people to watch. And maybe, you can hear our takes and things that we picked up from our, quirky little psych nerd minds. So that's
I
coming
like it.
up this summer.
That's coming up. You can look forward to that. That'll be our afterthoughts or recaps or something. We're gonna we're gonna do it this summer. So yeah. Great. Well, that concludes it, Sean. Thank you. I always appreciate talking with you about stuff. And thanks for letting me nerd out over space things. I know it's not always totally your jam, but
space stuff. I know I'm not as hardcore about you, but okay, I was going to ask you this earlier, but it was going to be like totally out of the question, or like not really in the flow. What's your favorite planet? I want to know.
I mean, it's Earth. I live
outside of Earth. You can't pick
I'm a
Earth.
home team. I'm a home team guy.
Okay, well, pick a non-Earth a planet, right. And one of our. I'm including Pluto in this because Pluto did not deserve that.
Pluto,
fuck that.
No.
What's your favorite planet?
I gotta give it to Jupiter, and here's why.
Jupiter's a good one.
So first of all, Jupiter is gorgeous. She's a giant ball of gas, which is phenomenal to me. First of all, right? There's not a solid thing to that planet. Like it's gas that's just collected into phenomenal. It has, I don't know how many moons, but like tons of moons, tons of them, right?
Yes.
And do you know why I like Jupiter so much?
Why?
Because she keeps us safe. Did you know about this?
Because like lots of asteroids come through it, or
because she's so big, she has such a gravitational pull that anything that gets close to our solar system that's not managed by the sun is managed by Jupiter, and everything that could possibly be threatening to Earth, she just pulls away because she's so big. Like, I love that. That's love really cool. Space shit. So it's Jupiter, hands down.
Excellent answer. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Cool. Great. Yeah. Nice. That's a good conclusion. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Great. All right. So thanks everybody for joining us. We really appreciate everyone who dials in to listen and watch. We want to obviously remind you to like and share and talk about us and tell your friends about us. And please follow us where you can find us on YouTube at Collect Your Thoughts, and you can find us on Instagram at Collect Your Thoughts Podcast. We love you. We will miss you between now and next week.
And we're hoping for the best for you.
And we're hoping for the best. So we want to remind everybody to just take a breath and
collect your thoughts.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.